So I was watching the Champions League football last night and Man City lost again. 7 games out of the last 10 now they've lost. And I blame Noel Gallagher, because ever since Noel Gallagher announced Oasis were making a comeback, Man City have started playing like they used to in the 90s when Oasis were big. What has happened to him? What has happened? And Guardiola, I mean, dare I say it, has he been exposed slightly? I mean, he must be looking at Barcelona now, who are really playing fantastic again. Lamine Yamal, what a player. I mean, it's not just his goals and his talent, but I've never seen someone with an eye for a pass like that. Some of the 3 balls he were playing last night were absolutely unbelievable. But, I mean, Pep can only blame himself, because I think selling Cole Palmer was probably the biggest mistake of his career. Not just Cole Palmer, but Julian Alvarez as well. I mean, they're both absolutely flying now. And, I mean, it's easy for someone like me who just got an interest in football to say in hindsight, why did he not have the foresight to see that Kevin De Bruyne is close to the end of his career? You know, Gundogan, why has he brought him back? I mean, he looks old. Surely he should have known that Cole Palmer would be needed in the future. I mean, what a talent, unbelievable talent who's come through the academy as well. I mean, could you imagine if Palmer stayed at City? Him and Phil Foden for the next decade could be they could be the spine of that team. I mean, they could be like the Giggs and Scholes were for Man United, but for Man City. And to sell Palmer is even worse, because he's come through the ranks. He is the most Mancunian lad you could ever see. I mean, he's as Mancunian as a Ellis Lowry painting, do you know what I mean? He's got the swagger and the attitude of a pure Mancunian. And to sell him to Chelsea, for him to go down there to London, and I don't know, man, that's just a real bad mistake from Guardiola. I mean, like I say, we might have to question one of probably the greatest managers of all time, but, you know, he's had a mare here, hasn't he? Oh, it's like Cole Palmer. One of the best stories I heard about Cole Palmer was he playing a senior game for Man City. Comes off the pitch, runs straight into the dressing room, grabs a couple of cereal bars, runs straight into his car to drive 2 or 3 hours down to where Man City under-21s were playing. Gets there just in time to start the game and ends up scoring a hat-trick. You know, that's the sort of player he's lost. And, I mean, what could they do with Cole Palmer now? Look at the team. It's just, I don't know. I mean, Julian Alvarez as well. I mean, a World Cup winner. Can play as a 9, can play as a 10, can play him out wide. Cole Palmer, you could play Cole Palmer out wide. You could play Palmer as a 10 or even an 8. You know what I mean? But people criticise Ange Postecoglou at Spurs a lot, saying he's one-dimensional. You know, he can only play one way. Maybe Pep's the same. I mean, if you're comparing to, say, a boxing analogy, Pep's like one of those knockout artists who was destroying everyone in his prime. No one could touch him. He just used to walk through everyone. But now he's getting a bit on in his career. He's starting to take a lot more shots. His punches aren't having the same effect. Yet instead of adapting his style, using more skills and, you know, using his boxing brain, he's just ploughing forward and hoping that things are going to change. And if you look at Liverpool, under Arne Slot, I mean, they look solid. They if you stay with the boxing analogy, they're like a Floyd Mayweather. You know, they can box on the back foot. You know, they can shut up shop. They can make it any game they want to. And if they want, they can attack like the best of them. So, yeah, I mean, in a way, it's sad to see as a 40 fan, but the thing is, people say Pep's the greatest manager of all time. You know, they're saying he's better than Sir Alex, whatever, that's people's opinions. But if you think about it, Pep Guardiola's always had everything in his favour. He took over at Barcelona. He had Xavi, Messi, Iniesta, Samuel Eto'o, Carlos Puyol. I mean, come on, Sergio Busquets. And I mean, maybe no one else could have produced the kind of success that Pep did in those 3 years. When the Champions League 09 and 2011, trebles and pretty much everything he won in those 3 years. But he had things in his favour. Then he goes to Bayern Munich, and basically it's a one-team league, isn't it, in the Bundesliga. You know, he's bound to have great success there. And it's no surprise he dominated there. And then when he comes to City, yeah, fair enough, City were not on that level then, but they had won the Premier League twice in the previous 5-6 seasons, and they are the richest club. They've got the best, you could say, infrastructure. So he's pretty much had everything on a plate, and he's not had to face adversity, really. This is the first time. And then you look at Sir Alex Ferguson. I mean, close to getting the sack. Mark Robins famously saved him from the sack with that goal in 1990. I think it was against Norwich. And he built a team that won the Premier League, that dominated in the 90s. You know, he kind of fell away, built another team to match Arsene Wenger with the treble-winning team. When that kind of fell away, there was a period of between 2004 and 2006, and a lot of people might forget this, but United didn't win the league for 3 years, and the fans were getting on players back. Ryan Giggs was getting booed. People might not believe me, but Ryan Giggs was getting grief from the fans. People were questioning Fergie. People were questioning if Ronaldo was a good player. And then look, he went on to build another amazing team that got to 3 Champions League finals in 4 years. You know, I think it's too early to say that Pep's the greatest Premier League manager of all time. Let's see if he can turn it round. Let's see if he can turn it round. Because if he does, but it's not looking good. I just see a team of old, tired men at the minute. And this will be a test of his managerial talent. But who am I to question Pep Guardiola, man? It sounds stupid, doesn't it? But it's just my opinion. Opinions like arseholes. Everyone's got one. Most of them stink. So there you go. So today's session, big squat session, moderate deadlift, smash some heavy rows. I've realised today that rows are better after rack pulls. Rows feel so much easier after rack pulls. I couldn't be arsed with the rack pulls today, so I just did the deadlift. And from next week, I'm sacking them off. I'm going into more minimal weights, more fitness. But I realised today that I'm always going to do rows after rack pulls in future. Because they have a huge potentiating effect.